Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today we're going to talk about spider vanes. You'll see Brady Ellison on the front cover of the spider vane catalogue brochure. Spider vanes are a spin wing style vane. Spin wings come from, obviously, the name Spin Wing, who was the first, I think, the first of this type of vane where they actually curl. Spin wings are American, so I naturally thought that Brady Ellison, being maybe the greatest American recurve archer, then you've got to think about Darrell Pace and Rick McKinney. Rick McKinney was Sportsman of the Year. Anyway, one of the greatest recurve archers in American history with all those gold medals. I would have thought these vanes were made in America. I would be wrong. They are made in Slovenia, which is the same place where these vanes are made. These are XS wings. So XS wings and spider vanes made in the same country, Slovenia. And you're going to say, where is Slovenia? And I'm going to say, I don't really know. So I had to look up a map. And I thought, I wonder if it's near Russia. Anyway, we found out Slovenia is in Europe, and it's far enough away from Russia to not be worried that they're going to be invaded anytime soon. So that's a good thing. So spider vanes, Slovenia. Now the other connection between spider vanes, Brady Ellison, is obviously his partner. She apparently comes from Slovenia. Don't know any of them, but this is what I'm told. So, spider vanes, they come in a pack of 60. The most expensive, I think, of all the spin wings. So, let's just have a look at the other spin wings. Spin wings are the ones you're going to be most familiar with. They're used by most of the recurve archers. They're about $24 for a pack. So, spin wings, American. I'm going to say I've never had a problem with spin wings. I've never had a problem with spin wings. The company, lovely people to deal with. Been dealing with them forever, never had an issue. XS wings, same people. I'm going to say the same people who make the Brady Ellison spider vane. Now, the XS wings are cheaper and they're a slightly different design. So these are more like your spin wing vane. And the contact for spider vanes and XS vanes are the same people. Now, the problem I'm going to say with the XS wings, the guy who owns the company, who you talk to, lovely person. The problem is when you order them, sometimes they don't have the colors you want or the sizes you want. So basically you take what you can get at the time. It might have changed since then. But with spin wings, if you want yellow, white, blue, green, or whatever colors, they always have them. It's easy. XF wings make so many different colors. Sometimes when I order them, they're not available. So just bear that in mind. Now, Gas Pros. These ones. These are made in Italy. So, Italy vane, Italy spin wings, which I find like this is like how are all these different vanes made in different locations? There's also a spin wing vane made in China. And I kind of wonder how many of these are made in China, but they say they're made where they're made. So, Gas Pros. And we're going to get back to spider vane. So I'm at the local archery club, and most recurve archers will shoot a spin wing style vane. Now, if you're Simon Fairweather, the greatest Australian recurve archer, maybe, unless you take Alex down in Melbourne, and he could have a claim for it. Once again, arguing point, but and then there's going to be some other archers who probably have a claim for it as well. But Simon Fairweather said to one of my staff, he said, look, if you're shooting recurve, you've got to shoot spin wings. Okay? There's no questions about it. That's what you've got to shoot. Now, at the moment, I shoot impulse vanes. The reason I shoot those is they just shot really well for me. Now, there could be a reason. I want to discuss that before we go into this review. When you've got plastic vanes on the back end, especially impulse, creates lots of drag, lots of spin. So it could be those vanes are getting lots of drag and lots of stability really quickly, which is why I'm getting really good results with them. Could be that's one of my theories. Another theory why I'm getting really good results with them could be they actually weigh more. So let's say each vane weighs 5 grains, ballpark number. I've got 15 grains at the back. That's like taking 15 grains off the front. So weight at the back is exactly the opposite of putting weight on the weight on the front of the arrow. So it could be that the weight of the impulse vanes is actually stiffening my arrow, my shaft, and just creating really good tune. Could be, right? So just things to consider. So if you go for a spin wing, very little weight, so your bare shaft is going to shoot pretty much the same as your spin wing style vane. So at the moment, if you wanted to bare shaft, this is theory, if you wanted to bare shaft your impulse vanes, you should add the equivalent weight to the back end of your shaft. Now I haven't, but maybe that's one thing I should do. So in one of my videos I did, the impulse vanes were shooting amazing, nice tight groups, and my bare shaft is way out to the right of the group. So the fletched arrows are in the middle and the bare shaft is way out to the right, but I was getting amazing groups and I shot really, really well with those Pandarus arrows. So spider vanes, more expensive to start with. 3M tape. So spider vanes in my shop are about $34 for a pack of 60. Spin wings are about 24. XS vanes are about 24. I can't remember what Gas Pros are, sorry. So 3M tape. 3M tape is good. You're going to be happy with it. It comes, this is the lining tape. This is the tape you run around the, wrap around the front or the back. So this is white. And this one's red. So you have the choice of which color wrapping you're going to put on. Look, I really like that. If you want my stuff, he's just put these vanes on his arrows, and he got the green ones. So he's actually put both green and white just to make it look pretty. So I'm at the local archery club shooting, and I'm asking the recurve archers, which spin wing do you shoot? Which type? And a lot of people said, look, spider vanes are really durable and they don't break even through a clicker. So I was like, maybe I'll take a look at these. So this is the Gas Pro vane. Now what's different about Gas Pro, and I'm hoping I can zoom up, is this little tip here. This little tip. See the tip here has got a little end. So with a normal spin wing vane, it's curved, so you've got to kind of tape the curve of the spin wing down. Where this, it's a actual defined little edge, which I really like. The vanes look like a spin wing. They're quite bright. I like the color. There's instructions. So the catalog has the colors and it has instructions on how to fit them, because I read it last night. There. Clean the shaft, draw a line on with either a texture or a brown or a lead pencil, and then stick the tape on the shaft, then stick the vanes onto the shaft. Now it takes a bit of time to fit spin wings or spider vanes or Gas Pro vanes. Takes a bit of time and effort, so just bear that in mind. But that's where we're up to. That's the spider vane. We're going to fit some to the arrows and we're going to try it. So I'm fletching up 3 Pandarus arrows and 3 Skyline arrows. So 400 spine and 500 spine with Gas Pro, with the spider vanes. So 3 of each. So I've drawn the lines onto the shafts using a black texture. So they recommend either using like a paint pen, very fine, or a pencil. So I tried pencil, I couldn't see the lines, hence the glasses. With the texture, I was using a fletching jig to draw the line, and I think with the texture, I was getting it too much inconsistencies in drawing the line on. So there was a bit of variation with the. Sometimes I think the stickers are too close together, and sometimes a little bit too far apart. They're obviously quite close to each other. Now the next step is to peel off the 3M tape. So the 3M tape sticks on really well. No issues with that. Now the next step is to stick the veins on and then put the tape around it. So that's what we're going to do next. So far I've done 6 arrows like this. I'm about half an hour in, just sticking the veins on. So when people go, oh look, it's really quick to stick spin wings on. Look, time it, like it takes time. And this is part of the thing for me when I compare vanes to spin wings. If you're sticking vanes on with the fletching jig, they just go straight on. And it's like easy, everything is the same every single time, easy as. Now for me, like shooting vanes, in the last week I've been shooting scores indoor between mid 280s, so I'm going to say 282 to 290. That's with a recurve. So really happy. That's plastic vanes. Super happy with that. So my thing is, when people are like, you need to shoot spin wings. Well, what type of scores do you shoot? Are you shooting elite scores, or are you still at a beginner stage? Because the amount of work to put these things on, I feel like it's like a craft, and I'm not a crafty kind of person. I feel like it's painting those little models and stuff. I feel like I'm going to get more inconsistencies with the way I stick these veins on than the plastic veins. And I feel like, well, maybe I'm going to get more inconsistencies with these arrows because of my fletching than the plastic veins. This is just me talking out loud, obviously, and obviously annoying spider veins. But this is my thing to you. Like, if you're thinking about putting spin wings on, just note it's not as easy as sticking a plastic vane on where you go bang, 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 and you build a whole bunch of arrows in minutes, and they're all identical. This is much harder. It's all by hand, and it's by eye, and you need to have good eyes. You need to have good light, get a good paint pen. And look, I think next time I do this, I will actually get the line marking tool to do it. So that way it's exactly in the middle. Because using the fletching jig and a texturer, I feel like, depending where I put the tip, sometimes it's in a slightly different spot. So it'd be better to have a finer tipped pen for doing this. But next time I'll do the other. But let's just continue this because I'm halfway through and I'm half an hour in. So I've just stuck my first set of spider veins on. I really like these tails here. It gives you a good base to start with, and I really like the front here. It makes it very easy to line up the spider vane with the fletching tape. They look great. Really quick. Like, I started this and said, look, it took me forever to draw the lines, to stick the tape down. These spider veins just stuck down in seconds, really fast. So now I'm going to wrap the tape around the back and the front. Now that's no issue. Like, I've done that many a times. And if you don't want to use tape, you can get something from the chemist, pharmacy. It's like a thing. It's like a fake skin, and they used to use that around here because it was so light around the front and the back. But it comes with stuff, and it comes with lining tape, and I'm obviously going to use that, and we're going to use red ones. I could have used white to make it stand out, but I'll use red. But really happy with the first one. Don't know how it's going to shoot yet, but let's fletch all 6 of them and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've fletched the arrows. That's not them, they're the impulse. Now, putting the spin wings on, the spider veins was easy, and putting the tape around was really easy. Really love the tape from the spider veins. So with spin wing tape, it's just one continuous roll, and you kind of have to cut it or just pull it off. I used to just pull it and it'd break. A bit like electrical plumbing tape. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I haven't warmed up, I haven't done what I should do, we're just shooting. So we're at 18 meters, cameras on the target, and hopefully we'll hit the target. So first off, we're just going to shoot the impulse vanes. Now, saying that, I've been tuning my bow and working to get my bow back to how it was, and it's hours and hours and hours of work. So roughly how many hours? Let's say I put 10 hours in so far to it. I was shooting great, great for me, which was between 280 and 290 indoors, and I won 2 tournaments with this current set off. And then I was like, well, let's wind up the bow poundage, and it just didn't work. Couldn't get things. I didn't persist with it, but I wasn't happy with it. So I went back to the arrows, the Pandarus arrows. Hopefully went back to about the same poundage I was at, and went from there. Basically, I couldn't get the arrows I wanted. I couldn't get the Skyline Paragons shooting the way I wanted them. And I was shooting before, so I was like, well, let's just get this happening. I did order more Pandarus arrows. They had none of the size I wanted. In fact, they sent me some, and they're the wrong size. They sent me 550s instead of 450s. Now, the owner of Pandarus said they're out of carbon. There's a worldwide shortage of carbon, so you're going to have to wait until they come, which is like fine. I understand there's world shortages at the moment. So anyway, so we've hopefully gone back to the way the bow was. So let's see how we go. This is my first arrow indoors, and hopefully this is 18. So when you're testing stuff, basically shoot arrows, and shoot groups. Like I'm just here shooting them. I'll try and get some sort of group happening. I mean, and when I say my groups haven't been great, it could just be it's really cold and it's pitch black outside when I'm shooting, as opposed to nice weather. So, I should be coming to, this is obviously my store, and I'm here at 18 meters. I can go back to probably 30, or probably shoot from inside the office and get 40 or 50 meters. But I shoot at home because, that's where Marla is, my partner is. And I'm just at home. I don't want to be at work all the time because otherwise I might as well set up a bed here. And I don't know if that's any better than going home after being in an archery shop all day and going out the back and shooting till 9:30 every night. I don't know if that's any better, or whether I just feel like I'm at home and I pop my head inside sometimes and say hi when I'm shooting. One thing, what I found is when I went up in poundage 2, I lost a lot of confidence with my technique, my form. So this is a spider vane. So this is the finished product. Very happy with the tape. I was really worried at the start when I was putting the tape on. I'm like, this is going to be rubbish, and they just look great. Now, one thing I noticed with the spider vanes, well, the jig I used a cut jig to mark the lines, and it's further down than my impulse vanes. So now ideally I like my vanes towards the back of the arrow as much as possible to create more stability, but with the cut jig it puts your vane further forward, so I was like, well, hopefully this will be okay. Now I have shot spin wings before. Now what I'm interested in comparing the impulse to the spider vanes, spin wings, I'm interested in see where they group on the target, because theoretically the spin wing vane with less weight makes the arrow, more weight on the back is like less, makes the weight this makes the arrow weaker, the spin wing vane. So it should, theoretically, the spin wing vane should be on the right hand side of the impulse vanes. Now we're at 80 meters and we're going to try at a longer distance. At a longer distance, the spin wing vane should be higher up in the target, so more speed over distance, where the impulse vane will be getting more drag with the vanes, theoretically, and in long distance will be more like a parachute with the impulse vane, theoretically. Of course, Boating say that's not the case, and they claim that these vanes are built for recurve archery and they're meant to be the same, so that's what we're going to test. One thing I noticed with the Pandarus arrow versus the Skylon arrow, the Paragon, to pull back through the clicker is so smooth with the Pandarus. It's like it's lubricated. It's just so smooth. Where with the Skylon arrow, I can actually hear it pulling through the clicker, if that makes any sense. It's more of an abrasive sound. Been raining most of the day, but it's just cleared up outside. Literally in the last 15 minutes, it's blue skies. So we're going to go outside and we're going to shoot this at distance. One thing about old age is your eyes aren't as good, and I can't see the arrows in the target at all. I've got no idea where they're striking, and it's harder to see when you're putting the vanes, like putting vanes on and spin wings on the arrow, actually what you're doing. So that's why I needed glasses. When I was younger, no problem, I could see stuff. Now this is a bare shaft, so this is kind of interesting for me where it sits. Now when I was first testing these arrows, the bare shaft was on the right hand side, indicating these arrows were weak. Now when I've adjusted this bow back, decreased the poundage, last night the bare shaft was actually dead in the middle. So maybe I've wound the poundage down more than what it was before. Last arrow. So this is the last of the spider vanes. Alright, let's go down and have a look. Okay, it's always nice getting to the target and seeing your arrows actually hitting the target. I did a video the other day and the arrows are up here and I'm like, oh, they're not even on the camera. So it's always nice to get down here and the arrows are on the target. Now, the spider vanes are on the right hand side of the arrow, so it is making the arrow weaker than stiffer. Now the groups, actually I'm really happy with that group to start with. You can see the bare shaft is kind of in line, probably more in line with the spider vane, which is interesting. So the impulse vanes start here, and so they're all on the left of the spider vanes and on the bare shaft. So what's happening is the impulse vane is making the arrow stiffer. The spin wing is making the arrow lighter. So on that side. Look, I'm really happy with the impulse groups. Really happy. I cannot say enough good things about that. Now, I have shot them outdoors and I've shot well with them and I'm happy with them, and obviously that's why I sort of shoot them and they're easy to stick on and all the rest of it. Now, what people tell me is spin wings, spider vanes, have advantage at distance. And what, when I was talking to, oh God, I'm going to get his name wrong, and I'm really sorry for the pronunciation. The owner of Spider Vanes and the XS Vanes are Dinja Sitar. Got it wrong, but anyway. What he said is for indoors you should shoot a longer spin wing to create more drag. So maybe for indoor archery I should be shooting a bigger spin wing. Maybe impulse are better for indoor. I don't know. This is like we're going to test this. But at this thing, it's not like the spider vanes are horrible, but they're definitely not as good as the impulse vane. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these back to, let's say, 40 meters. And I'd be interested to see where they hit on the target, where the difference between left and right is at 40 meters, the distance in height, and also the grouping. So let's take it out. Okay, so I'm back at 40 meters. I have sighted the bow in. So I've changed strings, I've adjusted my bow poundage, I've changed the tune of my bow. So since last week when I won a competition and shot great, I changed everything. Changed my string. So my string was a 7-inch brace height. I'm now up to about an 8-inch brace height, and some people say it should be 9. Now my view on brace height, for whatever it's worth, the shorter the brace height, the more speed you're going to get because it's got more travel, it's doing more work. Now, a longer brace height will generally increase your poundage a little bit, so because it's going to put more preload on the limbs. But the shorter brace heights will be faster and a little bit noisier. So just go with what you want. I didn't change one of my strings for a year, and it stretched, and I didn't even realize it because obviously it stretched over a long period of time. Didn't notice any difference to anything. So not until it started hitting my wrist. So, and I was like, wow, that string stretched a lot. So anyway, this is a new string that we've just made up, and I'm going to test all different types of materials and all the rest of it. But anyway, this string is definitely slower than the last one. So I have moved my knocking points up over my last string. So this is an 18-inch strand, 652, so equivalent of fast flight. But we're going to try out different string materials as well. But at the moment we're just working on arrows. So this is a spider vane, so spin wing, 40 meters. Now the target face is an 80 centimeter target face. This is an impulse vane. Other impulse vane. I'm going to move the camera around because there's a fair bit of sunlight coming in. And I'll try and get the camera so you can see stuff. Just put this around here. So, another spider vane. Now, can you use spin wings for compound? Absolutely. And back when I was 20 years old, there was a whole bunch of people using spin wings for compound. And the same things that apply for compound, for recurve, should apply for compound. So lighter vanes should give you more speed and all the rest of the stuff, more forward to center. The problem is sticking them on and durability, which is why most people just use plastic vanes. You could also say the compound shooter has got a lot more speed than a recurve shooter, so the vane drag is not such an issue as it is with a recurve shooter. But back when I was 20, so 30 odd years ago, there was lots of people shooting spin wings for compounds, but compounds were not as fast as they are today, but there's no reason why you can't shoot compounds, spider vanes, or any other type of spin wing for compound. In fact, I had people use spin wings for hunting. Because when you've got to put a broadhead on the end of the arrow, you don't want the broadhead to plane like a, head off in a direction, so you want those arrows spinning. So yeah, one of the hunters used spin wings for hunting to get the arrow to spin. So last of the spider vanes. So last week at 40 meters or 50 meters, I was pretty much keeping all my arrows in the gold. Like I said, I played around with stuff and I was sick this week and I haven't been shooting as much this week, but with compound I can come out and shoot pretty good at 40 meters after not shooting it for a while, grabbing any compound. Recurve is so much harder. The tune and everything, it's like, for me it's like magic. Like when you get all your arrows to go in the middle, it's like, that's just unbelievable. It's amazing. Then you say, well, how can you hit anything with a longbow? Well, that's really amazing. Okay, so I'm up here at the target and literally I have to get up here to see where the arrows are. Now, as I said, this is my first 40 meters since I played around with everything. Now, I'm not as happy with this as I would have been last week, right? So the impulse vanes are there in the target, scattered around, up and down. So clearly it's me. Clearly it's me. It could be tune. It could be a whole bunch of things with recurve, right? So with me, what I do is I basically I've got to build up my confidence again. It's only been a week, but I've got to build up my confidence again to make sure the poundage, like I'm not having any problems with the poundage. Everything feels good. So I've just got to build confidence. Like this is a new string. I don't even know the material of my old string, to be honest. I can't remember. It'd be on one of my old videos because when I do stuff, I generally do a video on it. But here, so this is where we're up to. Now these two spider vanes are almost touching, but this one's up here, right? Now ideally what you'd have is your arrows numbered. So you can go, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. So that way if number 1 goes here all the time, it's number 1. It's well worth numbering arrows if you're a target archer. Because if you've got a bad arrow, you want to know about. Look, the impulse vanes, I've got nothing really grouping. So is that the bow? Is it me? Maybe I just need to shoot more and get warmed up. It's not a bad day, so maybe we'll shoot another end. But this doesn't give me enough. It doesn't give me enough to work with stuff. So I've got to shoot more arrows. And this is why my tuning takes a long time, because I'll sit here and I'll shoot for hours, see what the groups are looking like, and then I'll make a minor change and see if things improve. And then I'll shoot for a few hours with that and Then I'll either, if it improves, I'm like, well, maybe I need a little bit more. And then I just shoot for another 4 hours with a little bit more or a little bit less, and I'll shoot for 4 hours and see how it goes. So my tuning with a recurve takes a long time. Now, with these spider vanes here, I'm like, this is building confidence. Now, the one thing which is kind of interesting to me is I don't see any real difference in the height. So, yes, the impulse vanes are slightly lower, but it's not significant. It's not as significant as I thought it would be. I was predicting from the indoor experience, I was just predicting the spider vanes on the left-hand side of the target. Not the case. Well, yeah, like this one's on the rightish and this one's, more on the left, but it's not significant. So, what this result is to me is inconclusive. I haven't really got much difference, and you could say, well, you need to go to 70 meters or you need to go to 90. Okay. I start off close, so I start off and get my shooting all happening first. So, I mean, ideally what I'd want to do, because I've changed everything, is shoot scores, indoor scores, 80 meters, and shoot 280s again, or shoot 290s. Shoot the spider vanes and see what sort of scores I shoot. Then I'd go back and hopefully shoot 30 meters or 40 meters and shoot some scores and see what sort of scores. I'm not going back to 70 or 90 meters because I don't have the confidence at 40 yet. So it might be my technique, it might be the string, it might be whatever. I might be better with a 7-inch brace height versus an 8-inch brace height. I don't know. But this is where I'm up to at the moment. So this is the first step, which is why when I have a bow set up and I'm happy with it, I'm reluctant to change stuff. So I'm reluctant to go, oh, I want to put heavier limbs on and wind it down, which is one of the reasons why I sort of said in the last video that I generally don't wind the limbs up or down. I just buy new limbs and stick them in, because if I stick new limbs in and I want to go back to the old limbs, I just clip them in and it's like my bow's unaltered. As soon as I adjust the poundage, it's like, how many turns did I do again? Did I change the brace height? And some of it might be just me doing my head in with stuff, so I've got to build up my confidence again. But anyway, spider vanes, look, I really like the look of them. They look $1 million. I feel like I want to crest my arrows now just to make it look pretty. But there's enough there. This is not enough, but there's enough there for me to shoot at 80 meters, shoot scores, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go home, shoot scores at 80 meters, then go hopefully tomorrow's Sunday, there's a tournament on, but I'm not shooting it because I'm buggerizing around with my archery gear. So there's enough here now to, shoot at home 18 meters, then go back to, like 40 meters, shoot here and shoot groups and play with stuff, like play with the plunger, play with the rest, play with everything to see how things look. Now I didn't do bare shaft at 40 meters because I didn't want to miss the target. If I was going to go back past 18 meters, I'd gradually work my way back. I'd go 20, 30, 40. But right now, like, the groups spread, but it's actually not that bad. Like, it's not great, but it's not bad. So there's something for me to work with and just try minor stuff to see if I can get it tighter. Or it just might be me. My body's not warmed up because this is literally a few arrows. I didn't really shoot many arrows, so my body's not really warm yet. Anyway, I do these videos to give you information and so you know what you're doing when you do stuff. Spider vanes, happy with the tape. Really like this. Price is a little bit more expensive than spin wings. Look, I like spin wings. I haven't tried Gas Pros. I've tried XS's. Saying I've tried XS's, I think I prefer the spider vanes over the XS. I like the top and tail. I like the tape here. And yes, they are more expensive, $10 more expensive, and I am relatively tight with money, but $10, these look great. I'm happy to put in $10 extra because I think it's a better thing, and I'm sure Brady gets some money for it, which doesn't worry me one way or the other. I just think this is slightly, it sticks on easier, and it's just, I like this tape better. It's fine. Otherwise, use spin wings. If you're $10, just go spin wings, and it's US, and you know most archers shoot spin wings. Most recurve archers shoot spin wings. Always have. They've shot all the records in spin wings. But like I said in this video, don't jump straight into spin wings if you're sort of starting out. Like even from my level, I don't know if there's enough in the difference between spin wings and plastic vanes. There was one Olympian from Australia who used to shoot plastic vanes and said he shot better with plastic vanes than spin wings. But take the point that pretty much everybody at world championships will use spin wings. Anyway, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.